Welcome, welcome, hello. I am Stephanie Matthews with Magical Mothering, and we are in the Magical Mothering Facebook group. Today is day 4 of thriving as an empath. I've absolutely been loving reading your comments and reading your kind of shifts that have been happening over the past few days. Good morning! And I'm really so grateful for the practice and the implementation that has been going on with you and with actually putting these exercises into practice and really seeing the shifts occurring and happening. So I want to give you a little bit of a something that absolutely would have affected me before, but because I've been using these tools, no longer has the same impact. But I want to share with you kind of what happened actually just this morning. So I wake up and I'm preparing for this 4th day, and I'm getting ready and I'm in my emails. There's a lot of wonderful new magical people that are joining the Magical Mothering group, and I was putting their emails in my thing, and an email pops up that I have a new comment on my YouTube video. I do wild edible videos, and the comment was I was going to purchase some of the tincture that you made, that you show in this video, but you're a witch, and so I cannot support a witch. And this comment goes on and on to say that it's time for me to repent, that I should be ashamed of myself, that, you know, the end is coming, and I really need to turn back from my witchcraft. Okay? So this is what I actually woke up to, and I always find it so beautiful when I'm able to get such a clear message, especially right as I'm about to participate and then teach something about transforming negative voices. So I got this comment, right, Grace? Yeah. I got this comment, and right, yeah, okay. So now you see where my mindset was first thing waking up this morning. And I kind of sat there and I giggled and I went, okay, first of all, she's doing a lot of assuming. Right, to assume that I'm actually like a practicing witch. I don't even know if that's a word that you call like a practicing witch. It'd be a Wiccan or a pagan. I actually haven't classified myself as any of these religions, so that is interesting in and of itself. And I went to go give her a whole explanation of well, you know, how are you supposed to condemn and judge me? Way to be a Christian. But I didn't want to do, and my husband was like, Stephanie, don't do that on the YouTube channel. You don't need to encourage this. And so I went, okay, that's so right. Where is my mindset? And I realized I am right? Okay. And so I'll take it. I don't mind being labeled. I really don't. And so it's funny that I used to be so scared of what other people thought of me. I am a recovering people pleaser for real. I used to have real anxiety. Be loud and proud, right? I used to have a lot of anxiety about what people thought of me. And so I used to limit what I would share, what I would speak about, the healing that I do, because I didn't want to be portrayed as something that I might not be. And now I see her name calling, if you will, that her calling me a witch and seeing, yay, oh, I'm so glad. I changed my phone today, so hopefully all is well with this recording. Being called a witch and starting my day out with this kind of really negative undertone, I was able to see whether it was something that actually resonated with me or not this morning. And it really prepared me so much more fully to do this exact Facebook Live this morning than if it wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have had this recognition of, is this negative? Or does this even is this actually even something that I'm concerned with? And I realized I had such peace. There was no anxiety about her opinions or her judgments. There was none of this aspect of, oh, I should probably change what I'm doing because I don't want to be perceived as anything negative if that's what she's thinking. And it was so incredible to just take a moment and feel what was mine and what was hers. And so this is a huge step in our negative thinking. Sometimes really we have to start thinking about where our negative thoughts come from. And I always go back to the inner child, because often our inner thoughts actually sound like one of our parents. And I had to do a lot of work with this judgment aspect. And it's generational. There's very much a generational theme in how we are spoken to as children. Our parents were spoken to like this, their parents, and so on and so forth. And so really there is this aspect of creating space around beginning to recognize what is it that is actually true for and to you, and what was actually implanted during conditioning. Yeah, I know, Kim, we've done some work together. Kim and I have worked extensively together, and there was a lot of this critical self-talk. Good morning, Linda. And I see that Wendy's on here, and Sia, I hope I'm saying that right, and Grace and Violet, good morning. And so I want to just take just a second. We're not going to drop down into the visualization yet, but I want you to just close your eyes and hear the way oftentimes maybe it's like a self-criticism, or maybe it's a self-doubt, or maybe it's just like sometimes we get this thing of like, oh, you can't do that, or who do you think you are, or oh, why are you dreaming so big, or oh, what are they going to think of you? What is the thought? What does it say? If you can tap in, I'll be quiet for a minute. What does it say? And who does it sound like? And then just share. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Kim just said, OMG, this makes me want to have an open conversation with her daughter about her inner voice and what it says and if it is her. Yes. So a lot of times any of this inner work that we're doing, and I hope you're starting to realize that the only way to really heal and thrive as an empath is to be so incredibly focused on our own inner work. We cannot change other people's negativity around us. We cannot change the way that other people think about us. We cannot possibly please everyone in our lives. Sounds like my parents. Yeah. Okay. So this is definitely a huge theme. And for me growing up, it was very much to be a good little girl, be obedient, and to not make waves. There was enough waves. My brother and sister were able to make waves because that was their personality. And by the time it got to me, it was no more waves. Like, we can't handle anything else. So for me, I very clearly got the message that I am to be as absolutely unwave making and obedient and calm and polite and nice, and I wanted everybody to be happy because I could feel all of their anxiety, all of their hurts, all of their sadness, and I didn't want to bring any of that up, even though it was like bubbling out of me all the time as a child. And so I feel like this is a very similar way to a lot of how you guys grew up, is this aspect of we just wanted everybody to like stop feeling so much nice, yeah, right? And so when I first started out with, especially with this, with doing life coaching, I very much did not want to like say things that might rock the boat, and you can't. Like now, when I'm on a call with people, if I notice something, I have to say, hey, whoa there, this is not okay anymore. And I really have to step up and share the very uncomfortable aspects that is blatantly in my face. I am no longer scared of the repercussions, because guess what? There really aren't any repercussions. This is what heals people now. Me being brave and speaking my truth and speaking my intuition and speaking the messages and the guidance that comes through me is now a healing journey for others. But I had to step away from believing and hearing those little voices anymore. Being offensive, oh my goodness, yes. That was the last thing in the world I wanted to be, right? Was to offend somebody. And today it was blatantly clear that I offend lots of people now with my medicine making and my wands that I'm selling, and being offensive is no longer my problem. I am allowed, and I am allowing you, I'm giving you permission to no longer be ruled by these outside forces anymore. These outside forces that are pushing and controlling and tugging and manipulating and putting you inside of this little container so that you stay fitting in. We no longer desire to fit in, because as an empath, we don't fit in. I was at the lake yesterday with another mom who I met recently, and she joined in this challenge, and she lives in a little town in the middle of the Midwest, and she was sharing there's not a lot of people like me out in this little town. I can't seem to find a lot of them. And I said, listen, there's not a lot of us anywhere. I grew up outside of LA, and I grew up I grew up in Burbank, California. There's just not a lot of us out there. And this is a really big understanding of what and who we are. There's not a lot of us, but we're here to heal and create great transformation in this world. If everybody was an empath, the world would be changing. But it is up to us to no longer be that peacekeeper, to no longer hold our tongues so that we don't offend anybody, to no longer be nice, to no longer be obedient, but to really step into our empowerment and to help our children so that they are not stifled, so that they can thrive. Yes, absolutely. My son really loves wearing leggings. He loves it. He loves how comfortable they are. He likes them if they have like shooting rainbows and unicorns on. Like, he just loves leggings. And there's a lot of people who automatically see somebody wearing leggings and go, oh, hi, aren't you so cute? She, her, oh, look at her, look at how cute she is. And I've had to allow for him to speak up if he wants to. I've said, does it bother you that they call you a girl? He goes, no, I know I'm a boy. And he's not bothered. Whereas I was taking offense of he's a boy, don't you know, he looks like a boy, he's wearing a blah, blah, blah. And it didn't matter what I said. The people just couldn't see. It was really funny. There was one time that this person kept calling him a girl, and he was little, and we were out somewhere, and finally he just pulled down his pants and peed on a tree, and they were like, oh, he's not a girl. But no matter how many times I told them, he's a boy who's wearing leggings. The clothes that we wear are such a label-inducing aspect. And oftentimes we dress so that we don't get attention. We dress so that we can kind of hide ourselves. We layer on physical weight so that we can hide ourselves. This is a big aspect of a new client that I'm working with. We've actually been friends for since we were 3, and I get the pleasure of working with her. And we're doing a lot of this aspect of we actually wear what we are feeling and what we are thinking and what we are trying to hide within ourselves. So this goes very deeply. It is not just mind deep, these negative aspects and these little voices that really sabotage and create this space of not being enough. Having to change who we are at a core level in order to fit in. And this is no longer needed or necessary. Yeah, Kim's saying, I live in a huge city. You live in a huge city with hundreds of thousands of people, and it's still difficult to find like-minded individuals. Absolutely. Yeah, my son likes my daughter's leotards. He's sleeping in one now. I told him as long as he's comfortable. Yeah, it's amazing that for generations upon generations, boys were told to be a specific way, girls were told to be a specific way. And in fact, the roles, like the way we react are very convoluted now. Women are much more controlling. We're much more overgivers. We're these people pleasers. And being overgivers and people pleasing and controlling do not actually go together whatsoever. And this controlling aspect has kind of manipulated what the feminine really is. And it's created a lot of negativity within ourselves. I know I'm a recovering overgiver, and I'm still very much working on my control issues. And this comes from this space of being able to create within ourselves the empowerment enough to let others go and just be in control of ourselves. This is an aspect that on some times of the month I'm much better at than others. I'm sure you can relate. As is all personal growth, there's times of the month where I feel like all of the personal growth for the years that I've been doing it get thrown out of the window, and other times where I can really implement and infuse everything that I do with the tools that I've learned. So I want you to go back into that little voice that is so harsh and critical. I want you to think about that little voice right now. I want you to think of what that little voice is telling you. Maybe that, I can't believe you made that decision. Or maybe you can't do that. You are definitely not a business person. I want to be a recovering overgiver. Yes. Oh, yes, for sure. And I still catch it. Like I said, I still catch it. And that's what recovery is, right? It's a process. And that's what healing is. Sorry, the train. Choo-choo. So, it's almost done. It's coming through. The street is like right there. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. But I know that's what it's going to sound like. Okay. We're good. So in your mind, and some people might not hear a voice, they might feel something in like the pit of their stomach. They might feel this like unease, this anxiety of you're just not doing it right, or everybody's going to see what you're doing, or why are you doing this? Why do you have to be so different? This is a big one. Why do you have to make waves? Why do you have to live alternatively? Why do you have to, not do what everybody else is doing and always stirring the pot? Why do you have to put that on your Facebook feed? It upsets people. These little voices keep us small, and they keep us quiet. And there's so many aspects of our lives. I know a lot of you live alternatively in some aspect, either in the way that you eat, in the way that you live, in the way that you house, in the way that you raise your children, in the way that you're doing things. There's this alternative. And the fact that we even have to say that it's alternative is the very essence of the fact that we are different. And this is what is so exciting about being an empath. This is what it's time to embrace. Good morning, Anne. And this is really what we get to transform within and of ourselves, is this aspect of stepping into the beauty and the grace of being different, of being alive with something magic, empowerment, where people come up to you and go, there's just something different about you. I just want to be in your presence for a little bit. And this is the power of really being an empath and not allowing others' energy to take over you. But as an empath, you're able to then give of your essence and embed them with that feeling. And it goes, it rocks people. It rocks people to their core, because they often have only been able to give their energy and take your energy. But when you lovingly give of yourself, not overgiving, trying to please them or control or manipulate, but really giving to embody their wholeness, people begin to shift, because you can't help but shift. You can't help but create waves within them that there's something else out there. And this is what is really amazing about this work, is that you are that instrument. You are that missing instrument for your community. And I'm going to say the word tribe, even though I know that it's maybe not used in this context, but it's very much a new breed of people that are coming into this planet being able to feel empathically. I said in day one that the word empath in and of itself is a science fiction term that was only used in science fiction books and movies, and it isn't even recognized as a real aspect of our human existence right now. And yet there's very much thousands of people who are empathic, who feel other people's emotions, and yet it's still not actually recognized anything other than a science fiction term. We have come into a new millennia. We have come into a new way of being. And the old, outdated conditioning and coping skills and tools no longer work for us, because they snuff us. They snuff out who and what we are, and our light begins to dim. I know there was a few of you who joined at the beginning of the week who your lights were getting dim. And I want to honor that. I want to honor the fact that you showed up anyway. I want to honor the fact that you trusted in something enough to show up and to see if there really was something possible for you. Because a lot of the women that I work with, their lights are very dim. And it is my job to spark them and to bring that fire back inside of them. That is what my purpose is in this world. And it's really about a matter of igniting each other. I see inspiration as that. That's this ignition, this igniting that happens, that creates fuel and transformation. And so now, with this knowledge, I want to go in and transform these little voices. And we're going to do one today. So I want you to pick one little voice that is often repeated in your head, and I want you to hear what it says. And when you hear what it says, if you haven't written it in the comments yet, share what is the most often negative little voice saying to you. So I know Kim said that she wasn't smart enough. That's what her little voice coming from her dad often said to her. So if you would please share what is the phrase that is most often said. So mine, personally, I think I shared it already, is what if I'm not liked? What if nobody likes me? And it actually goes one step further. What if I get killed? This was a major fear. Did you hear my throat when I said that? This was a major fear that I have actually been stepping into the past 18 months is, who cares? I have to speak my truth. And getting messages such as you're a witch and you're practicing witchcraft brings all that back in me of, I'm going to get burned at a stake. I'm going to get burned for this. I'm going to get killed. This is where my little voice goes. I will get killed for speaking my truth. And I have to give it a voice. And I have to share it out loud. Otherwise, it rules my inner world. Otherwise, it slowly puts my light out. Slowly puts me into fitting in. And I can no longer fit in. And neither can you. There's no possible way of fitting in anymore. And so we have to speak truth to these fears that keep us small. Because there's absolutely no way that I can hold back what I am meant and supposed to do any longer because of a fear of being judged or labeled or even killed. So my husband actually, it was going on about 5 years ago now. 5 years ago, he said, nobody is doing what you're doing. Shut up. This is what I hear. Yes. Yeah, shut up. Be quiet. That is such a speaking your truth. Sia, thank you so much for sharing. You can't, is what Violet says. You can't. Wow. Powerful. Powerful. And how much of this are we giving to our children? You know, this aspect of, don't be so much. Don't be so much. This is the conditioning that ends up getting passed down because these are the thoughts that we have. This is something that I struggle with my daughter. She is very much a lot of much. If you've ever met my daughter, you know she's a lot of a lot. And so not dimming her light is something that I struggle with because of my own conditioning. And yet all I can do is bring it back within. And that's what you can do. Where in your life have you actually been not doing? Where in your life have you not been speaking? Where in your life have you not been going after the promotion because you weren't smart enough? Fear, too loud and offend the wrong person that will take away my children. This fear, yes, Grace, yes. This fear of being, stay in the bubble or you'll be kicked out. You'll be an outcast. Me too, love our girls, 2 peas in a pod, oh my gosh, yes. And when our girls get together, they're like, bah, 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 bah. And they just like get bigger in each other's presence. And then finally they like explode into each other and go play. It's a beautiful scene when you can find somebody that doesn't back down. And for our powerful little girls, this is it's such an empowering thing to have another mom who allows for that empowerment to happen and to watch it unfold and for them to like match each other to then see, oh, we're equals. Let's go create together. And I think this is what this group, like puppies, right? I think this is what this group is really about, is you can finally like say and be and create and say things that are no longer, that are going to be like, yeah, and what else do you have to say? Not you can't or shut up. It's what else? What else do you have? What else do you want to share? What else is it? Is there more? Does this get bigger? Is there more to this dream? Is there more to you? This is what this group really is about, is allowing for you to finally have a space to have that voice, to have that freedom, to truly be able to start uncovering and unveiling the mysteries and the magic that has been kind of dampened. And so now that you have this voice, this phrase, I want you to see this phrase in your mind's eye. Remember, we're using our third eye, our imagination, to really create. So I want you to see it written, this phrase in your mind's eye. You can see it, either on a mirror or in a photo, however you need to see it. And then I want you to imagine that it starts going into like this smoky vapor, and it becomes personified. I want you to personify this phrase, not so much the voice, because we know who the voice is from, but I want you to personify the phrase. If shut up was a personified thing, what would it look like? If you can't, you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, you're gonna die. Somebody's gonna hurt you and take away your children. What does this monster look like? What does this monster smell like? What does this monster evoke within you? Where is this held in your body? I want you to sit with this for a moment. This has been what has been creating the dis-ease in your body. This has been creating the disconnect from your soul, from your higher self, from your being. And I want you to take this embodiment and I want you to thank it. Thank you for trying to keep me safe. It's all we ever wanted. It's all we wanted was to be safe. And this monster loves us so much. It was just trying to keep us safe. So now I want you to take and allow for this outer covering of what this monster was, and allow it to fade away. Let the physical aspects of it fade until it becomes nothing but a ball of light. Notice what that ball of light looks like. What color is that ball of light? And now, out of this ball of light, I want you to personify a helper, an inner voice helper. When you look at this helper now, they embed within you a bubbling joy, an excitement, an eagerness to share and be and express yourself as the beautiful being that you are. What does this new personified voice look like? Breathe in this embodiment of truly helping, no longer possibly being safe or comfortable, but really this exciting eagerness to be whole and to be you and to create. And I want you to give this new figure a new phrase. A new phrase. The phrase could be, I speak my truth. I share my wisdom. I speak exuberantly. I am smart enough. I am good enough. I am brave. I am wise. Creating the phrase as an I am statement is a very powerful thing. And then I want you to thank this new embodiment. and see it in your mind's eye. This is where it is going to rest, and this is what is going to be imbuing and embedding your thoughts from now on. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back into this space. And you now have a cheerleader. You now have an encourager. You now have support. Because sometimes support doesn't come outside of ourselves. Sometimes we won't. I shine in my individuality. I love it. Because sometimes we can't find the support in a Facebook group. Sometimes the support isn't there from our family or our friends. But do you know where the support can always come from? Is from within. When we allow ourselves the possibility to see within, the support will always be there. And we have to start transforming this thought that it has to come from outside of ourselves. It comes and it bubbles up and it heals and it creates from within us. And this is where the magic lies. So I just want to say thank you for sharing this space with me, for being brave enough to do the work. I love it. I'm fearless and I honor myself. So beautiful. So if you guys feel like sharing more in depth, please go make a new post in the Magical Mothering group and share anything from this experience that you would like to share. Again, your bravery inspires and ignites the bravery of the other women in this group. Even if it's, yes, that's me too. Your bravery really creates a ripple effect in this space. And so you being brave enough to create for others that may not have their voice yet is a very powerful act of kindness and generosity. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being here, for being present, for being willing to take a step towards becoming more of you and less of everybody else that has been bombarding you. I look forward to our final day tomorrow, and I think what I'm actually going to do is next Monday I am going to create a like a live Zoom call where we can all see the videos of each other, and the first 50 women that are in there will be able to really interactively create some dialogue. And so we're going to keep this going a little bit longer, and then I can share some more resources with you, and we can actually go in and do some one-on-one work together and things like that. So tomorrow is not going to be the last day. I'm going to keep this going a little bit, and I will give all the details of that Zoom call so that you can get in on that. So I'm very grateful for you, and know that this is so encouraging. Those 5 days went so fast. I know, right? Tomorrow's the last day of this. So, and there's more of these 5-day challenges coming. Know that. So this is not the end of it. I'm definitely going to be doing one in August, and then in September we're going to be doing a full 30 days. And then we'll be starting the new year with a whole new group. And so this is not the last of it. This is just the beginning of really creating momentum towards real radical life change. So glad you didn't go back to sleep, Grace. I'm so glad that, like, bing, that you were here and being able to be live and present with this. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning. Please go into the Facebook group and share away your own experience, and the recording will be up in just a moment. Goodbye.